Have you noticed that the internet feels worse lately? Not slower or uglier, but emptier, more artificial, and less human? That's not nostalgia talking. That's a real shift happening in front of us. Search results are now flooded with paid SEO content. Social media feeds feel repetitive and manufactured. Platforms are removing content at will. Accounts are disappearing overnight. And more of what you see is optimized for algorithms, not actual users. This is what many call the dead internet theory, and it didn't happen by accident. The modern internet is no longer built around expression or discovery. It's built around extraction. Platforms are incentivized to keep you scrolling, predictable, and monetizable, even if that means prioritizing bots, recycled content, and engagement hacks over genuine human presence. Writer and technologist Cory Doctorow describes this process as enshittification, where platforms start by serving users, then shift to serving advertisers and data extraction, and eventually hollow themselves out entirely in pursuit of control and profit. The result is an internet that technically works, but feels completely lifeless. And it's true. Most people consult the internet nowadays in order to doom scroll, instead of using it to exchange data or even to enrich their own knowledge, as was the web's original purpose. And the most important part of this story isn't even content, it's data. On today's internet, your data is temporary by default. It exists at the mercy of platforms, terms of service, moderation policies, and invisible algorithmic decisions. Posts can vanish, accounts get banned, histories are rewritten, and entire communities can disappear overnight because the data was never truly owned by the users who created it. That's the core problem of the normal internet. When data can be erased, rewritten, or memory hold, the internet stops being a shared archive and becomes a controlled feed. Quick pause here. If you felt this shift and want more content that actually explains why the internet feels broken, take a second to subscribe, because this channel focuses on all the repercussions behind the movement towards Web3. Now, here's where things get interesting. The internet doesn't have to decay this way. The dead internet isn't inevitable. It's the result of centralized control over data by a handful of giant corporations. Once you remove that control, everything changes. This is where Web3, when done correctly, becomes more than hype. It becomes a counter movement, not about speculation, not about price, but about data permanent. For example, on systems like Qortal's data network, data is published peer-to-peer, and it's not hosted on any company's servers. So when something is published to QDN, it doesn't disappear because a platform changes direction, an advertiser complains, or an algorithm decides it's inconvenient. Data suddenly becomes durable. History becomes harder to rewrite. Freedom of expression once again becomes something you no longer take for granted. That's the real threat to the dying internet model. An internet where content doesn't silently vanish is an internet that remembers, and an internet that remembers is harder to manipulate, sanitize, or hollow out. The future of the internet isn't about better feeds or smarter algorithms. It's about whether the data we create will survive the platforms that currently control it. So if you want to explore an internet built around permanence and user-owned data and actually see what it looks like, install Qortal and experience a network designed to resist the forces that are killing the web you once knew. I'll see you in the next video.